Hey YouTube, new little video. On this one I'm going to talk about my radio kits. I've been talking a little bit online with a few people. There's been a lot of questions and I just finished my kits, so I thought it would be a good video to make. It's going to be multi-part because I have multi-kits and different accessory that goes with them, so each video will be more on that. Um, but what I want to show a little bit now, it's the three main kits that I carry. So I got this one, which this video will be mostly about. The next video will be about this kit here, which is my mobile. And then I got another kit here that I did videos in the past. It's my ADC kit. So as that, you can see, very compact. I carry a UV5R, but I may change it. I just bought another Baofeng. And I'm going to see which one I'm going to put, because that one I think it's the 8 watts and the 5 watts in it. The reason I go with Baofeng is that they're very cheap, and because this is in my ADC kit, if I get the back stolen or I have to leave it and stuff, I'd rather leave a $50 radio in than a $300 Yaesu or something like that, and it's not my main radio, so that's why in that kit I got that. So and like I said, we'll spend more time on this, but before I open this box here, it's not completed, the kit. I want to be able to do digital, and so this is where those little parts are, and I'm waiting 2 more. Initially I bought a Raspberry Pi 4. Those are the new ones that just came out. They're a little bit more powerful and all. And the beauty with the new Raspberry Pi 4 is that they have 2 port to do HDMI. So I want to use it for one of my screen, and then maybe another high-end. This is what that little radio as well is here. It's for SDR, and so my goal would be to plug a SDR in one of my screens. So I would have 2 screens. One of my screens would be SDR, so I could monitor all the frequency that I'm in. With this one does just do the VHF, UHF, I think, but there's another module you can add, and you can do the whole HF. So I may do that if it works pretty good. And then on the other screen, then I would do all my digital communication, and apparently this is powerful enough to probably do that. I didn't see much video on that purpose, but a lot of people say they use it almost like small computers. But then as I bought this, another Raspberry Pi product came out, and it's basically the Pi 400. And the Pi 400 is just a Raspberry Pi, but inside a it has basically a whole kit to create like a small computer. So it has the mouse, it has the keyboard, and all the same attachment that the Pi has. And I thought it would be a good thing for a kit like this, because now I have my keyboard, my key, and I just put that in there, and everything is kind of protected and stuff like that. So it's not so much for portable. So that one may go into my portable kit, because that's another kit I have, portable. So not just this bag, but I got another kit. I'm just working on it now. So that's going to be this. Right now, this screen, obviously, it's like an old TV that I had. It's going to be an old, well, there was an old TV, and now it's going to use it as a monitor. So obviously, if I have electricity and the grid is up, it's great. It's big. It provides me, it has HDMI. But if the grid would be down, that wouldn't be a good thing, because obviously it needs electricity. So I got 2 more. I got 2 more screen on this way, and that's going to be mostly for this when I use it battery, or if I don't want to use the big one. So we'll see that. So like I said, the main kit now with this one, and we'll do another video on that one. So this kit here is mobile. So what's the difference between portable and mobile in my kits? So mobile, that means that if I would have to leave this place with a car or a something that I could, yeah, mostly a car, or would have to drag stuff, like something on wheel and thing, that could be carried. It's pretty heavy, so it wouldn't be able. I mean, technically you could put it in a backpack, but it would kind of be on the heavy side. But it still have a lot of capacity. So this is why when I separate my kits, they're portable and mobile. And those that follow my channel before kind of heard that concept. So this is part of being my mobile kit. So when the grid is up, I can use it with electricity. I got a power supply which I just plugged over here, and I can use HF and VHF. But also the way I set up the system is that if I lose power, I can still use that with a battery bank. And I got I keep pointing over there is because out of the camera frame, I got this battery that I'll make a little video and explaining in my accessory one. But it's a solar generator that I made with a pretty heavy lead battery, but it has a lot of capacity. I forgot how much, but it's usually those ones that go in the solar system. So they're big, and this is why I bought it big that way, because I wouldn't use it just for radios, but for charging phones, maybe a little bit of electricity with USB lights and stuff like that. So, but that will be taught a little bit more in the other video. So like I was saying, in that box here, the capacity that I have, I got UHF, VHF, and the antennas that goes with it. So basically those are all the microphone. I got two type of microphone that I can use with the ICOM, and this one is more preference. So if I want to hear like the headphones and stuff and have my hands to write, instead of having like a microphone, I would just need to press and can talk quickly as I write, and instead of having like a microphone over here. So those are the three microphones right over there. Right over there in the back here, I got a multi so back over here I got a power supplies, an FMJ 30 amp multi level power supply, so I can do a variable if I need to use it for different things. But mostly I leave it just for the radios. But if I would want to do some electronics and generate some power, or even if I would use the power supply like at 5 volt to supply like my like if I would want to supply the radio. Right now it's plugged for all the radios and all. But if I would want to just roll it for my Raspberry Pi or something, I need 5 volts, so I could modify it. Over here, there's a alarm. It's plug in the back by a car cigarette lighter, and it's all it tells me. It's so when the power supply is on, it doesn't really help me. Although, I mean, by mistakes or if I move, I could have, because it's variable, it could have changed. So what this does is that it tells me if my supply is too low or too high. Certain of those radios, especially the ICOM, is very sensitive to how the power works. And so, for example, there's an alarm because now it went too high, and if it goes too low, it's the same thing. And so you can program what the setup that you want. It's more useful for when I use battery, because if I go down too much, then it would let me know, and as you can hear, it's pretty loud. So then it would tell me that I'm running my battery too low, and then I could damage my equipment. Over here is the KT8900D, and the reason I went with this one is that it's very small, very compact, but also it gives me the chance to to monitor 4 channels and at the same time. So as you can see here, there's like 4 channels right now, all plugged in. there's different setup that you can have. You can either monitor them and just talk on one, or you can talk on two, depending on, and it's channel A, B, C, and D. So Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. And what they so basically you can have, like, you can talk on Alpha and Charlie, but you're just monitoring Bravo and Delta, and you can set it up how you want. Right now I'm monitoring and chatting on all of them, so if any communication that comes, the color of the line will change, and I know there's been a transmission on there, and I can talk. I used it once in a the winter um, field contest, and it was great because it's mostly VHF for the winter field, and we were able to monitor different groups, and we were able to do a few more contacts like that. So this way, I could monitor different setting. I could listen to, for example, hydro or EMS dispatch just by listening. But also, if I want to give a report to people through my repeaters and stuff, then I could as well monitor that. So it mostly has a monitoring capacity. The antenna that I work on is actually pretty cool. So initially, this was supposed to be in a kind of mobile, to put in my car, but I changed the idea. And so when I bought this antenna, it's already attached and has a support and a magnet in the back. But it works great with one of the antenna in my next video when I talk about antenna, because it's kind of a base, so it helps really keep it up like this. And so all I did was attach it straight to it. It already comes with this coax, so I just open it up, and I can put, there's a small antenna that came with this, so if I just want to use it over here, I can use that small antenna. Or if I really want to crank out the juice a little bit, there's a bigger antenna that I have and can work on it. I can just put it on the floor and attach it and make sure that it goes a certain way. So it gives me multi options. And the coaxes, so far I've tried a few times, works great. This seems like to be not much loss, and it's a 25 watts as well, so and doesn't draw much. It also has a capacity of like FM radios, so if I would want to monitor the news instead of just listening to the communication in amateur radio, so I could do that here. Then I got the IT100 auto tuner. This is basically made for the ICOM over here. So basically just to tune all my, it's connected straight to the ICOM. And all I did is press a little button, put it on the frequency I want to talk, press a little button, it do all his magic, and it's automatic. So it came with the radio. The person was getting rid of it, so it works great over here. A lot of space, and over here I got like a bunch of pads and stuff to write, and I'll do a video on the accessories that I can use with this thing. And mainly now it's the HF radio that I use. So it's it's one of the ICOM. I forgot which one again. I'll put a link down of the name now, but it's great. And one of the reasons that I chose this one, I'll post a video down of. It's an old video, but he made a very good case for it. But the main reason I use those two radios is that when you want to have a go box like I have now, like that you can bring and stuff, and the power goes down, is that you want to be able to program things very quickly. Because I mean, like, let's say I entered all the frequency that I would listen here. Well, if I have to bug out and go to another place, and let's say I go to see to stay with my brother that lives in Calgary or something like that, well, I may have to change the frequency, because obviously they don't use the same frequency as over there. Well, those radios are very easy. You don't need like a computer or anything like that to do program. There's also another advantage over here is that the speakers in the front, not under, because a lot of times their speaker will be over here, and so when you put them in box like this, you don't hear very well. And like I said, it's 100 watts. So when I have the grid up like I have right now, I could use the full 100 watts with all my antennas that I have. But if the electricity would become an issue and I would use batteries, I could lower that down and use maybe a 5 watts or 10 watts, and that would be less power used on the battery. But if it would be an emergency communication that would really have to spit it out, then I could crank it up again to 100. But that means also there's weight involved with it. But this is not so bad. Like, I can carry it easily with one hand and stuff, and everything, like I said, fits inside there. In the back, how it works is everything is connected, and there's a power bar over here that has a fuse and everything. It's an Anderson power bars. I think it's an FMJ as well, and so my power goes into it. But I got a little device, and this is what you can kind of see. Yeah, you can see from here. And what it does is that right now, when the electricity runs, it runs through the power supply. Change the AC into DC. DC goes all the way up through the bars, and the bars redirect all the electricity DC to all my usefulness over there. But if I wouldn't have the electricity and I plug the battery over here, there's a little device over here that knows that there's electricity or battery, and it will flip one or the other. And so even if I would plug my battery, it's a little bit like when you have emergency lights in a corridor. So when it doesn't feel any electricity, those lights goes in. Well, that's exactly the same thing over here. Yeah, I can plug it straight to the battery out of there. Everything is contained, and all my cables and stuff like that just come out, and so I can plug my antenna like right over here. My main antenna would just kind of comes back over here. So it's easy to pull out. It's easy to take out. Everything rolls with little things like this and holds inside. And then in this one, that's my goal would be to put those two screens that I have or ordered and they're coming. And basically my kit would kind of goes like this. And then with the when I add the digital part, so the Raspberry Pi 400, then I would be able to monitor my two screens and do all my things on there. Also in the back, I put a multi-line of for cigarette lighters, and so some of that kit, as you'll see in the next video, is that it has a lot of cigarette lighter system because it's used to it's this purpose to use in the car. But if I use it with this kit, now I can put that in. I got 6 in the back, and so I can add more stuff to the system and use it because I got those cigarette lighters, and so it becomes a multi-purpose kit that I can use some of my other kits with the kit as well. So anyway, so that's the main HF, VHF, UHF kit that I have, and it's my gold box. And then we'll in the next video we'll talk about this bag over here. So stay tuned.